Alright, we're back on Igliak. If you forgot, we've been here a couple of times in the future saga, so it's just
You
that we're in a
know...
different part of it. Ignore that. Yes, Joe?
Oops. You know, technically when you think about it, isn't this where, like, you know, Tools of Destruction started?
No. Tools of Destruction started in Kerwan
No,
on
no, no, sorry,
Metropolis.
sorry, I misspoke. All for one.
I forgot, yes, it was on Igliak, just in a different part, and it was during the night. Now instead we're
Sorry, I
getting
misspoke
at
there.
the museum, which also means we're meeting Talwyn again.
Are you okay?
I keep waiting to hear Krunk snoring or Zephyr yell at him for not taping his soap opera.
When the Nethers are banished back to their dimension, the Progs will answer for their crimes.
I've been trying to shut down the security system, but Captain Quark forgot the code.
Of course.
I'll take care of it. You just tap into the hollow feed and tell us.
Thankfully, Nestin is giving us the hacking tool, so...
Dandy.
Now the nifty thing about the hover boots is that you can destroy boxes just by ramming into those. So there is that.
For a moment, I thought you were going to hit Talwyn, too.
No. Okay, now it's time to have some fun, because the thing actually speaks and tells you about, you know, both the museum and the different panels that you find, which serves as a gigantic way of recapping the history of the franchise. Not completely, unfortunately, Wizard was just a bit more. A couple of things are a bit missed, but, you know, I appreciate the effort nonetheless. Don't ask me, you know, who voices actually the museum narrator bot, because I don't know. I don't even think he's credited.
So basically, this is a museum featuring all of Ratchet and Clank's past efforts.
For instance, these are some of the animals you could transform, you know, enemies into in the previous games, like the penguins into the destruction, the pigs, these are a variant from All for One, and so on.
I'm tapping into the feeds now so I can monitor your progress. Head to the Lombax history wing.
Anyway, let's check what the pirates did.
Welcome, patrons, to the old pirate code. This wing of the museum celebrates Captain Slander, a vile space pirate who plundered his way across Polaris. Slag has since retired from his life of crime and now lives as a semi-professional beatboxer in Stratus City.
You know what?
Well,
good for him. We will see Rusty
apparently
Pete
he got his
before
body
that.
back too.
We will see Rusty Pete also in
These
Rift
furry
Apart.
creatures may seem adorable, but they are fiercely territorial and prone to bouts of rage when they feel their land is in danger. Interestingly enough, nearly every being in the universe is allergic to them. This, along with their temperament, makes
Okay, I'm trying to listen to the narration here. Can you stop sneezing?
That was basically the incorporated sound effects. Alright, well, we'll check on Kronk and Zephyr in a second. First on
Behold
this.
the Battle of Gimlet Valley exhibit. It was here Commander Argos, the Butcher of Bernelius, was defeated by Fungoid Chief Zon Gribnak and two mysterious heroes. This exhibit celebrates two of the galaxy's greatest warbots, Kronk and Zephyr. They fought in a combined 6,132 battles, the most notable being the fight against Emperor Tachyon. They currently work for the Polaris Defense Force.
Warning. Historical discrepancy detected. Updating records for Docent 427.
Oh dear, my mistake. They are dead. Well,
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Rub it in.
the sages of Polaris, Terrachnoids, provide tech support for the entire galaxy. We're not belittling their inferior customers. Terrachnoids use their supreme brain power to deduce riddles of the universe, like chaos theory, the trillionth digit of pi, or how to answer the question, you're kinda cute. Do you want to go out with me? Gelatonium is a natural occurring fuel source used to power the vessels and cities of the Polaris galaxy. A multi-stage refining process produces these gelatinous cubes that refinery workers have found irresistibly fun to bounce on. Management those
But can you
clamped down with
eat
the use
them?
of tomboys.
Well, no, that's why they had the
Gelatonium whenever
convoys
such silly
for.
behavior is detected.
The only gloopy thing I eat is jelly.
That's kind of the point, Leaves.
Gelatin is basically jelly, just solidified into a state that it keeps a shape. Like
Yeah, stuff put in it, they can't eat it.
it's literally in the name, gelatin.
Well, this
They
was
don't
called
call it-
gelatonium, it's a bit different.
So that word doesn't really exist around here that I know of.
Is that so? What do you call it instead then?
Jelly.
So you call all forms of it jelly.
Infamously,
Yeah, just different kinds.
the fourth doctor loved to introduce himself by offering what he called the jelly babies.
Well, that's the thing, though. The first time that I recently found out by watching the Three Doctors episode that the use of eating a jelly baby was actually before the Fourth Doctor.
I guess they just incorporating for his catchphrase.
We have now entered the natural history wing.
Thank you.
The largest known land animal of planet Sargasso. Troglosaurs have an average weight of 21 tons and are so big they can be seen from space. These peaceful herbivores are harmless, except for when the occasional explorer or picnic enthusiast ends up stuck to the bottom of their massive
I mean, it's not the monster's fault, to be fair.
No, it's a classic gag of, giant being that doesn't pay attention to their surrounding. One of the characters in We're Back for Dinosaurs in New York had that as his gimmick. So of course what you need to do is to manipulate the statue so that he pushes you back up. Yeah, let's just keep the timing. The thing is that here you get one of the remaining Rhino Hollow plans. The other will be roughly, 2/3 into the level. Still not in the museum because it's not just a visit to the museum.
Wow, this remake of Night at the Museum's a lot more advanced than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, just say that because they used that weird Unreal Engine screen that Disney uses for stuff like The Mandalorian.
Lack of funding, we will be taking a detour around the now empty Bolt exhibit and Raritanium wing.
Bummer.
I wanted to go.
In case you're wondering, no, you cannot actually lose track of the bot. It just wanders around a bit, but doesn't really escape you or something.
I do find it funny that, if I recall correctly, this is like the penultimate level of the game, essentially.
Well, technically the last world, but yes, this is technically the penultimate level because the one that you get after this will have, the conclusion attached to it.
It just feels relatively calm by Ratchet and Clank standards, usually with stuff escalating. But,
It's basically an occasion to have kinda, sort of a victory lap, in a sense of seeing how far the franchise has come.
I will say, with how the plot and the pacing of... Well, okay, not so much the pacing, but the placement of levels here. Okay, we already know that there was apparently some executive mandates and whatnot, but I do get the feeling that this is kind of a Crash to Insanity case where a whole ton of stuff they wanted to put in was missing, except unlike Twinsanity, which
Speaking of the
could
first
feel
couple
enough.
of games, let's activate
Hey!
this. Hold on.
Galatorium boasts an interactive replica of Dr. Nefarious's
Excuse me?
Biobliterator. Grav leap onto any planet to begin
Why
the
do they have a
experiment.
fucking Biobliterator in the museum? Do you know how much
Well,
I
why
had
not?
to shoot the
This
fucking
device
thing in the
targets
first game?
organic matter and transmogrifies
Well, you see,
it
Tio, it's a
into
part of
robotic
history.
form.
I'm sure that they wouldn't have an active Biobliterator. It would just be a replica or a completely decommissioned weapon, for
Oh,
sure.
of course it's Fork's fault. Oh my god.
We cannot let
You know, again, the fact you want to showcase it, sure, but decommission it. You know, make sure that it can't be armed in any way, shape, or form. Otherwise, assuming people survive, you've got one hell of a lawsuit on your hands.
Is this one of those escape room experiences
That you heard so much about, yes, clearly.
Of course.
Bio-obliterator charging. Bio-obliterator destroyed. Interactive experience terminated.
Oh, good show, good show. You have completed the experience without a single bio-obliteration.
Oh, so that's part of the attraction.
find that
Yeah,
dimension.
remember, apparently Core donated this thing to the museum, so they programmed an entire, visit around it. The fuckers.
Look. As nice as it is, okay. While him donating it was a choice, the fact that they chose to sponsor it,
Hey, look,
still
it's the
deadly
wigwam
as a...
from All for One.
The wigwam. This carnivorous creature burrows deep underground and has 10 eyes, 14 legs, and teeth that can crush rock. This specimen was shot while quietly napping in a cave. It took a crew of 8 taxidermists to pose the fierce creature you see here.
How do you taxiderm a worm?
And also, the way he described it, and the way he describes it, it sounds like the worm was technically still alive when they found it, so did they just kill and gut it to put it in a museum?
Don't think about it.
Just got a transmission from Quark. Is he really on his way here with Neftin Prog?
Neftin is assisting us in the reparation of the Dimensionator.
It's only temporary, Tal. He's agreed to come quietly as soon as his sister is safe.
I guess we have no choice.
I guess. Also, look,
Well,
statues about Nevo and Croyd. Yeah, Dr. Croyd and Dr. Nevo from All for One. You don't get an audio description for them, but at least it's nice when they put them here.
I guess I do appreciate that we don't have a lie revealed bit where Talon chews Ratchet out for working with
It's
Neptune.
more about when the situation is so desperate.
All the same, though, I do feel like the exchange went by a little too quickly. You're working with Neftin? He's helping us. Okay, bye.
It's basically about to trust me, in this case, sis. But before continuing on about this water-themed section of the museum, not sure what this is doing here, because I don't remember a lot of stuff involving fishing outside of All for One. Let's take a look at a secret passage vent, which leads us to a statue, of course, of Dan Johnson.
Here stands the heroic figure of Dan Johnson. Mr. Johnson once lived on a primitive planet called Earth, where he mixed techno music, raised
This is very
cats,
touching.
and discovered the often overlooked secret of
That being
enjoying
said,
life.
guys, why
Go
did you make it that we have to
outside, be
navigate
friends,
this
and
museum
share
by
their
going
company
through
while
the
consuming
pipes?
I guess it has to
food
be
and
relocated
spa
eventually, and
together.
is it just doing it for temporarily? I hope so, at the very least.
You know what this is like? This is like the Raccoon City Police Department, which was...
A
Okay.
museum that got reconverted,
Yeah.
at least in the remake.
Yeah. No, if I recall correctly, that was the case in the original as
But
well.
hold
where it was
on,
originally
we're about
made.
to get the
Entering
best
hall
part.
of villainy. If you see your face here, chances are.
Alright,
you're not
let's see
listening
if
to
this
your mother
franchise
while
can
you are
remember
growing
its villains from top to bottom.
Chairman Drek.
But yeah,
This
Chairman
cunning
Drek.
dog attempted to create his own planet using pieces of innocent worlds. He was thwarted by none other than Ratchet and Clank.
Okay.
Next.
Media magnate Gleeman Vox ran a crooked battle arena called Dread Zone for years before it was shut down by Ratchet and Clank. The void left by the show's cancellation was replaced by a continuous loop of Lance and Janice.
His
Episode
mouth looks a lot less
10,972
shark-like in the statue.
Mostly because
But
we're
I don't
looking it
like
from
you,
down.
thank you.
Yeah, still not as long as Coronation
They basically
Street's one.
recycled the
Dr.
model anyway.
Nefarious, a vile
Okay, yeah,
evil
Dr. Nefarious being in the
supercorrupt
center, that
who
makes
built
sense. He
multiple
is pretty
galaxies
much
in jeopardy.
the series
His most
villain at
notable
this
offense
point.
was his attempt to misuse the Great Clock for his own twisted purposes. Dr. Nefarious's current whereabouts are unknown, and he remains at the top of the galaxy's most wanted list.
Goodness.
Emperor Percival Tachyon was one of the most dangerous tyrants in the history of the Polaris galaxy.
I love how they made the statue,
A great
including
filled
his
with
little
contempt for
mechmobile.
Lombaxes.
Yeah.
He took control of Polaris while he
There will
hunted
be
the
another
news
statue of
Lombax secret,
Tachyon
used to
later on, but
transport
it's
his
just
kind
him,
into
on
another dimension.
foot, but it's for a different reason. Again, no mentioning of the Loki Parasite or the PSP villas, instead,
Stuart
of
Silver was a
course.
self-proclaimed criminal mastermind who set out to frame Captain Quark. His capture
I love it.
resulted in an unfortunate
The
fall
nerd
from an
actually gets
elevated
his
bridge.
Hall of
He
Fame.
suffered
But he actually
Shame it's probably not
I
played
can't
on.
believe it. He
a
actually
fractured
survived the fall
collarbone
from the
and
bridge.
severe damage
How?
to his pride. He now suffers a fate worse than Zordoom prison. 50 years house arrest with his mother Lucille.
No!
Oh god! Oh god,
The
and it's with
monsters.
Lucille. That is so an Arrested Development reference.
Developed by Grommelnet Industries.
Alright, this
the
all gets a
Glutatron
bunch
weapon
of
forces its
Valkyrie
victims
robot
into a
models
hypnotic state
just for you
with
to test
uncontrollable
out
fits of
the
dancing.
different musics
This
that
often
the
leads to
Groovitron
death, or even worse,
has and the
a
different
social
dances
media
that
video
that you can
resulting in
perform.
lifelong
But
shame
otherwise,
and
it is just a
embarrassment.
platforming section that you need to come across.
So they remembered the Valkyries, but not Courtney Gears. Sheesh.
Well, these are just the generic Valkyrie models, not even their leader, like Cassiopeia.
Weird.
Like I said, I'm more baffled by the exclusion of the Loki Parasite because he was the main villain of All for One at the end of the day.
I'm not sure if I can even say it's about the media not. Okay, maybe it's because the media wasn't aware. Although you'd think Quark would want to make sure everyone knew about the one case that he was involved in pretty much most time of the journey. So yeah,
My
no,
best guess is
it
that they wanted to make
does
the
feel
room.
very, very weird.
My best guess is that they wanted to make the room symmetrical because it has two on the side, Nefarious on the center, and two on the back.
Maybe. Though still, what a weird thing to do. Part of me does wonder if maybe this game was in development alongside All for One and Q-Force, and maybe at the time they hadn't thought to include him. Weird as that is.
Also, I don't know if this pod is a reference to the one used in Tools of Destruction to get to Fastoon, or the one from All for One. Could be either.
And test the pods before they release them.
I mean, that's
Are you surprised, given the
Yeah.
world we're in here?
Alright, the last call, the Lombax Easter Wings, and no, Angela is not here either.
What? Okay. Now this I call bullcrap on because Angela's been retconned to be the reason that Max Apogee ain't even
Maybe
here
it's a
with
case
his
where
daughter.
Polaris doesn't know about her. That's the entire thing. She managed to, stay low under the radar.
I
But
believe
it's
they
so
captured our
weird.
heroic side.
I'm sorry, but that kind of contradicts the comics since the bad guy calls out the fact that Max Apogee left with
He was a
Angela.
great
Like,
Lombax
Hold on, this.
until shame and anger got the best of him. To many, he is the villain who put the universe in jeopardy for selfish reasons. To others, he is a hero whose only crime was wanting to correct a mistake.
You decide which.
did Ratchet actually give an interview to give intel on this
Either
guy?
him or
Like,
Quark. Probably Quark. Anyway, there you go. There's the Dimensionator on top of a Tachyon statue. As a reminder, it was not working ever since the end of Tools of Destruction. That's why it was donated to the museum. Oh. Poor Tux for less.
Alright, here goes nothing. Sorry.
Yeah, at least Ratchet has a bit of moment of empathy. Alright, Neftin and the others will contact Pollux and will try to fix the Dimensionator, while for the rest of us we need to clear a bit the room of Igliak from the Nethers in the meantime. We'll be able to reach them not too soon, not too far from now.
So I guess if this game's plot has told us anything, screw keeping the Dimensionator away to keep people safe. We gotta keep that stuff on us now a hand in case someone invades from another dimension.
Just gonna leave him there. Okay.
He'll be fine.
He knew the risk, Dwibs. He'll make a noble sacrifice. We'll add him to the museum.
Oh, I think Mr. I has actually also found
former
us.
President Quark's memoir, Muscles,
Ah,
Memories,
he's
and
just
Maps.
touring the city.
Oh, look at that! The
legend.
Quark is still, even if we ignore Secret Agent Clank, the Quark still wrote a memoir. How cute. At least we're giving it for free.
Okay. I'll admit, again, like we came to the conclusion on, aside from Secret Agent Clank having a massive continuity snarl, I don't entirely get why they ignored them both. Like, I mean, they even went on to eventually say, admittedly with clenched teeth, that Secret Agent Clank is canon as an in-story episode of it, so I wonder
But like
why
I
they
said,
didn't just
size matters.
reference those as well.
Yeah, Size Matters doesn't really have anything that contradicts real stuff outside of, Quark's parents, if I recall correctly. That was the one thing. But honestly, you could just chalk it up to say that he forgot or something like that. I don't know. It
And
could
to
have
be
been easily
and
worked out. But it's a story on its own, just, killing the Technomites. That's negligent in terms of the grand scheme of things.
And hey, to be fair, the whole parent thing got boxed anyway, since, the bad guy revealed he was lying about that anyway, so... Unless Quark in a future game talks about his actual parents.
It was more of a, okay,
case.
from what I remember, it's a case where one line that we didn't get to hear in Tools of Destruction mentions that Quark's mother is still alive, while at the end of Size Matters, Clank goes to actually gets an actual internet equivalent, page that says that both of Quark's parents were killed and they were both superheroes. So, there's that. Anyway, here's your last weapon outside of the Rhino, the Never Beast launcher, because this is actually very interesting. It's a shame that they give you pretty much at the last major portion of the game, but to be fair, that's what the challenge mode is for, because you start with all the weapons, basically. It functions kinda, sorta like a homing projectile, sorta. It's complicated. Basically, you get near the enemy, the weapon calculates the trajectory that is between you and the enemy, and it summons a Never Beast that swoops in and claws at the enemy. It's actually pretty neat. Like I said, if there's one thing that even in the lowest of points shines through, for Insomniac is the weapon design, how creative it can be, instead of just being generic grenade launcher or grenade or generic shotgun, Alright, so the goal for this next section is to destroy specific, like 3 or 4, I forgot how much, specific giant Never Beasts. But what I'm gonna prioritize instead is to find the last Rhino schematics, because it's hiding around in the area.
Gotta have the Rhino, of course. Which, if I recall correctly, it's been a while since we got a game with the Rhino in it.
Well, no, it was in All for One, just in an exoskeleton suit rather than just a...
Right. It was the mech suit.
Like,
well, okay. It's been a while since we got the Rhino as a gun.
Yeah, I forgot if it was in Front of Rescue Force, but if it was there, I did not manage to unlock it. It might have not been, because if I recall correctly, this game's version is called the Rhino 8. Let me use this time to check the wiki again, just to be sure.
I believe you will need to locate a 3 3/4 cubit hexagonal washer.
How did you know that?
Oh, just a guess.
Just a guess indeed. Alright, did you get that?
Good.
I could actually see Ratchet and Clank collabing with Spaceballs. Whee!
You are dead. Mrs. Zurkon finds this humorous.
Well said, Mrs. Zurkon. Well said.
Glad you found something funny.
That's the brilliance of the Zurkon family, please. The fact that they enjoy their card being interested together, you know, in Good Slaughter. Anyway, no, I can confirm that the Rhino is not in Full Frontal Assault Rescue Force. I do legitimately wonder if it was another cut weapon or something, because that's one of the aspects from the games that has been kinda constant, as we noticed also from the Southern Museum of A Crack in Time. Now, it's not the last thing that is gonna happen either, because Rift Apart also has a bunch of weapons that got cut away, including something akin to the Shipinator. Yes, Rift Apart doesn't actually have a morphing weapon, believe it or not. I think for the PC version there is a mod that restores some of those, but I'll have to look into that.
God help us if the next Ratchet and Clank game also gets some major cuts.
I mean, I think it's just part of the course at this point, so who knows. Like, it's more likely than you think. Like I said a couple of times, first of all, let's get the Rhino, after smacking again this past asshole.
Here you go. Good luck bringing those
There it is.
to justice. I'll be rooting for
The design is fine. The power too. They also give it another piece of classical music when you shoot at it. Let's see if you can recognize it as I shoot the plumber.
Night on Bald Mountain?
No idea why. I think it fits still. I guess it's because, oh, this game has a darker setting and the Never Beast look like demons. I don't know.
Wouldn't one of Tchaikovsky's pieces work better? You know, the guy who used literal cannons.
We already did that in A Crack in Time.
Oh. Fair enough then. Still,
and
though,
I don't think anything from the Nutcracker suit would have fit this instead. And by the way, that's the last one we see of the smuggler. So far he hasn't reappeared yet, and good riddance. Like, way to make me hate the fucking guy till the last.
I mean, I didn't really hate him, but
okay,
I'll admit,
in universe, if you hate Moneybags in Spyro, you'll hate him equally for the same reasons.
Fair enough. And okay. When you clarify in universe, that's fair beans. It does feel like he's meant to test your patience. I will say this though, this is the game where it definitely feels like he's there to just waste your time more than anything. Since at least in other games, he felt like he at least served as a character. Here, he just feels more like a roadblock.
Again, kind of like Moneybags.
Okay, but Moneybags does it with class, okay? This guy was just doing it as a dick. And mind you, the game, Spyro 3, gives you the pleasure of toasting Moneybags' ass for all that, too.
Well, in terms of voice acting deliverance, I kind of prefer drunk Moneybags from Spyro 2. There's something about his voice delivery that sounds more hilarious to me.
Original or remake?
Original, you know, because I cannot really speak for my country's dub, because in the Reunited Trilogy, of course, is fine, but as I mentioned, the original PS1 games had the voice acting quality of, I can't think of a good example, so let's just say Torgo.
Janitors?
Let's just say Torgo from Manos, The Hands of Fate, okay?
Goodness gracious, you went there.
But my point is that I was talking just about the English delivery more than anything, the original. I don't think it's even the same voice actor from 2 to 3 from the originals, but I haven't particularly checked on who he was voiced by. So yeah, even the last set piece of the game is a bit generic when you get down to it, compared to the, rise to defeating Tachyon in Puzo's Factory. If anything, this is more akin to when you revisit the second time the space station of Nefarious in A Crack in Time. It's a more quiet type of journey, well, a bit of a mix of that. He combines that with the Horde mode of Tools of Destruction a bit. Alright, now that the Dimensionator is supposedly fixed, thanks to Clank's intervention, because they remembered about the plot point of the gizmo that the plumber suggested into the destruction. Now it's time to properly get to fight Mr. I. Yes, we will need to deal with the motherfucker. Now, to be fair, we are properly equipped anyway, so it should be still relatively fine.
Aww, that's the Spirit Junior.
Again, I love the mechanic of the Zircon family. That was the right decision for the natural evolution of the character.
Yeah, I'll definitely say the Zircon family is easily my favorite thing from this game.
And like I said, they will keep that up also for the reimagining and Rift Apart. And there you go, the last screen before the final boss. So we have Pollux, Neftin, and Quark. No, Talwyn is not here, but she will show up for the ending anyway. One last beating of Quark for good measure. And I think this is also the last time we see Quark in this game, because I don't think he's much in the ending. So this is also the last major time in the main continuity that we hear Jim Ward as him.
Weird. I mean, again, it really makes me feel like chunks were missing from this plot with how abrupt things just come and go.
Hey, upgrades ain't free, Slick. Do you require...
Alright, I think we're basically ready, so let's go.
Also, I love how the Zircons ask if they can kill the NPCs.
Yes. Alright, so Mr. I here is fairly simple, but still imposing. The real challenge comes from the fact that you're not that much of a big platform.
So tell me, what is Mr. I's narrative? What is his purpose behind all of this? What are his deep Shakespearean tragedies that made him the way he is?
He's a mechanical Cthulhu. You don't really need much more than that. But the big gimmick is that for the sporadically during the fight, you get this occasion where, there you go, you're stranded on the platforms, you need to use the grab boots to jump from platform to platform before Mr. I actually shoots you down. So the Obliterator fight was a preparation for this in a way. Then Neftin uses the Dimensionator, and now it's up to Clank to find Vendra.
Miss Prog, if you can hear me, please tell me where you are.
Vendra may need your help when you find her. The Nethers use special protective armor to survive the crossing. Without it, she may be weak.
Wow, so crossing the dimensions is such serious business that
even
people native to it...
This specific one.
Even people native to it apparently need that. Oh boy. Do you hear that? That's the sound of one reveling in her consequences
Clearly.
of her
There
actions.
she is.
How did you find me?
Your brother helped us repair the Dimensionator. Come, it is time to leave this dimension.
I can't. I'm too weak. I need something to help me break the barrier.
I will help you find something.
Alright, that means we need to find a bunch of two specific Nether Beasts to have the similar gimmick to when we do to break the rift, the fractures.
Well, I guess it's nice that after flipping eating her, he actually just put her in jail.
Well, it's
I
more
guess
like a case
Mr.
that
I
he
isn't...
threw her just in the dimension instead of actually eating her, so...
Really? I could have sworn he consumed her and like that's what sends her there.
He had a bunch of goons, Nether goons, throw her, grabbing her from behind and throwing her into the portal.
Right, yeah, I recall he grabbed her but then threw her.
It worked.
Alright, one down, one more.
Ratchet, I have located Vendra.
That also means, however, you cannot do it just now. You need to actually have Ratchet without Clank having to go on with the 5-minute. Your mobility is more limited.
That's some challenge.
As you can see, also this is where the frame rate starts dropping considerably. Like, oh, if you think this is bad, in the original non-emulated version on PS3 original hardware, this fight can arrive at 10 FPS.
Jesus.
I don't know what specific thing does that. The model of Mr. I, because not much more is on screen. There's not much particles involved, you know.
I guess at the start of this phase there were a ton of things going on, but if the frame rate issues carry on even after you take them out, then I don't know. Like, I feel like something like this should be easy enough to fix to at least a frame rate of 30.
I don't know much about programming, so all of this sounds like evil magic to me. So someone more capable than me might give you an answer to that.
One thing I do know is like, well, okay, regardless of how much is going on the screen, essentially, if something is not optimized the best, obviously you can end up with frame rate issues. So it might be a chance that maybe there were development issues that didn't let them optimize it as much. That is my best guess with what I do know about programming.
This makes it look like one of those anti-piracy things that you get that developers programmed to be intentionally spooky to freak people out that pirated a game.
Yeah, I know, like, check this out, Clank.exe.
I cannot picture Clank having to say stuff like "I am God."
I am God.
You know,
which is funny considering David K instead got to voice one of the Celestials in Eternals. So
beautiful. Have you read the sequel to Sonic.exe, the one that actually reveals the whole... Jesus Christ, the reveal that... Oh, no, you see, it's an all-powerful demon who decided to become a video game designer.
Clearly. There you go.
Let's just get out of here. I never want to see this place again.
Ratchet, I have Vendra. We will be there.
Oh, tragic irony. The place that would originally be her home brings her nothing but dread now.
Thank you, Clark. You're really helpful.
Okay, I'll admit. As much as I find it weird that they chose Night on Baldwin Mountain, having that play while fighting the boss is actually fitting. More so for the boss, though, rather than you. Turns out it was actually pretty easy to beat Mr. I.
Well, that's the thing, he's not dead yet. We seem that we barely scratched him, we just kept him occupied. It's not being super uncommon for the franchise, for the final boss to not be killed by the actual boss fight. But this is basically a statement to say that Mr. I is kind of a different level, and it's best to just banish him to the Shadow Realm or something.
I guess he does not want to go back.
There you go.
It's all right. I'm here. It's just us now.
I was horrible to you. Why did you protect me?
You're my sister.
Where are we going?
A deal's a deal. We're going to jail.
Put me down. I will not go to jail.
Vendra, shut up. We're going to jail and that's final.
Can we stay?
No.
No.
Being evil is literally what got us in this.
Is that the Dimensionator? Yep. I assume it is no longer functional. Nope.
Didn't we think it was no longer functional the last time?
I guess it got squeezed with its last drop, whatever.
Look, all it takes is a writer going, I want to use the Dimensionator, and they can easily fix it. Friends are dead.
That's okay. If the Dimensionator was functional, would you use it?
To find the Lombaxes? I don't know. There was a time I would have said yes, but at this point, there's more for me here than over there.
Aww.
Come on. We don't want to keep her waiting.
But we have a sequel hook. Whoop. And the fans had to wait until Rift Apart to see this come to fruition, by the way.
Wow, this really is kind of like Thieves in Time, except unlike Thieves in Time, this at least did get its sequel hook addressed.
Also, some steals from
sorry.
Destruction to now to remember the good times we had on the PS3, I guess.
Oh wait, okay, I guess to be fair, actually, it's more like Sly Cooper Freeze ending, which did see that follow-up with Thieves in Time, basically the time travel thing.
Hey, they remember Quest for Booty!
Hooray!
Alright, there is a post-credit scene, we will talk about that when it comes up. But, final thoughts in the meantime. Lives.
Well, it was more engaging than the last game's plot. I'll say that much. It's mainly the stuff with the brother and the sister and then going to jail at the end. We're going to jail and that's final.
Yeah, no.
No. The rest of the game it's fine enough, I guess. It's just, again, it's more of a typical Ratchet and Clank fare. The museum level, at least, was something a bit different. Because normally you get those as a bonus feature, this time as part of the main story. Not sure what was with the recasting, though, of Tolwyn. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Hallie Hillis, but it's a bit strange how they just a big cast can just change like that.
Also, I love it. They have no slide screenshots for Oliver 1 in Full Frontal Assault, and instead you get this minigame where you control Clank in freeform when you need to escape the Never Beast. It's just there to keep you occupied.
I am falling in an endless loop.
Don't worry, Clank, you're fine. But yeah, no, I do find it weird that they didn't include at least something for All for One, like Full Frontal Assault, I kinda get. Except for the fact that, wait a minute, you still referenced Full Frontal Assault in the museum, so why not include a slide from that? And you know the funny thing is that...
30 minutes.
And you know the extra funny thing is that All for One didn't get referenced in the museum or in the credits.
Well, no, it had the wigwam in at the very least, and the pod possibly counts as well. And also, they had the statues of Nevo and Croyd, just without the voiceover.
Fair enough, but all the same though, why not include them in the credits? Full Frontal Assault I could maybe chalk up to just being, oh, it was alongside the game, then they didn't have time to put something in, but not All for One.
Yes, Lives?
Honestly, that's just really about it for me. Solid game. It'll be interesting to go back to the well, because the 2016 one's the first one of the first game in the series I've played. So it'll be interesting to see how well or not it's aged. Although we're doing the movie first, though, aren't we?
Yeah. I can tell you that since you have a PS5, it's probably best to enjoy it there, because it's one of those games that got, you know, a simple performance enhancement patch for the PS5 version, so we can actually enjoy it at 60 frames. Yes, unfortunately, since I don't have a PS5, and I still don't have, I'm not in a rush to get one. You will get to see the 2016 reimagining in a technically lesser format, but what can you do about it?
I mean, hey, it could be much worse. Like, I think it still looks fine enough on PS4.
I was talking more about performance rather than graphical compartment. Anyway, your thoughts,
Fair
brother.
enough. This game's fine. Like, okay, I will say this. The segment of Ratchet and Clank games in between Crack in Time and Rift Apart definitely feel like they were made in a hurry, for better or for worse. Like, again, none of them are technically bad, but all for 1 through Into the Nexus feel like all varying bouts of we had to chop out a lot of content because we had to rush this or that, essentially, or being manhandled by executive mandates, since, as we now know from TJ Fixman himself, yeah, he was kind of forced to have Kronk and Zephyr be permadead, which, again, like I've mentioned, is baffling. Like I said, I did not even initially mind them dying at the start. But that being said, my first instinct would have been, well, they're robots, we can rebuild them. Which is apparently what TJ Fixman intended too, but nope. Now, I want to say this. The plot feels like it's overall off to a good start, but then suddenly things kind of feel like they fall apart a bit after we beat Nefton, since we don't get to fight Vendra. Suddenly the plot's on like an acceleration point towards the end, and like they realize, oh hey, we got this bounty hunter guy, let's suddenly put him in to waste more time for the plot. Plumber gets to do something, and then we're more or less done with it. Like, even the penultimate level feels more like a victory lap than an actual climatic build up to the final boss. It's weird. And they make a big deal about how, oh, we gotta steal the Dimensionator. Like, it's not like we get in trouble. It's not like there's even massive security
because Igliak was being under attack at that point.
Pretty much. It's like, we stole it, and then Ratchet just tosses the thing aside. Like, basically no one really cared. And it's kind of weird since the Dimensionator is supposed to be this super big deal. But here, nah, it's just a thing we use. Again, the plot starts off good, but then it feels like it just meanders and loses steam. Like you mentioned, Quark doesn't even show up for the end. In fact, we don't get a big bombastic celebration or anything. Like, at least have it be more bittersweet. It's more just, oh, we're relaxing in the museum, Kronk and Zephyr are dead.
Speaking of the museum, we're about to get the final post-credit scene.
Robot ghosts. I mean, not the first time, but still.
We're officially in Futurama territory now.
If I have to spend eternity listening to your darn wailing, I'm gonna... I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Look at you. Even in the afterlife, you're still senile.
Nope.
Wait, they're ghosts, but they can't interact with even each other.
Come on, let's go see some of those Fem droids down at the robot graveyard.
I mean, good for them, I guess. But you know what? Wanna know what's the most hilarious thing in all of this? This scene was begged and requested officially, apparently, from TJ Fixman, according to that tweet that Jova told us a few parts ago. Apparently, when he realized halfway through development that they basically told him to perma-kill Kronk and Zephyr, was like, guys, I think we're doing a bad service to this, so he begged to have one last scene with them as ghosts to say that at least they can move on to some degree. Like, I get it, but poor guy.
For all the issues I may have had with some of his writing, I can believe that the guy did legit have good respect for the franchise, and
like, no wonder
stuff like this shows that he was...
when the monarchy with the reimagining happened.
Oh god, we will get to that. But yeah, no, for Ratchet and Clank fans, the thing is, I think part of the reason people were pissed off with the reimagining is, this was, as far as we knew at the time, the end of the original Ratchet and Clank continuity. Just them sadly walking off. Okay, we do get Kronk and Zephyr at least, I guess, getting closure in some shape or form. Them showing up as ghosts raises a few questions like, hey, could they at least say bye to Ratchet and Clank or whatnot? Whatever. But, I will give it credit that at least it's a better send-off than just them dying and us never seeing them again. Jesus. But yeah, no. Again, Into the Nexus is not a bad game, but again, it unfortunately continues the trend of a Ratchet and Clank game kind of not meeting up to my standards with Ratchet and Clank 3. Like, and again, Crack in Time was there. It was very good, essentially, but it does feel like after Crack in Time, either Insomniac didn't entirely know what they wanted to do, since, that was originally meant to be the end, or, like I've posited the theory, they were rushed with pretty much each installment, which feels like they weren't able to give it the full tank of gas that they usually would, essentially. Alas, that being said, I think Into the Nexus is still a fun game, essentially. So long as you know you're getting a shorter venture, and if you're okay with not getting to have a Vendra boss fight, you're more or less in for your typical Ratchet and Clank affair. Into the Nexus is essentially another Ratchet and Clank game, for better or for worse. It's not bad, but it's not amazing either. Tio, your final thoughts?
This is fine. If anything, it's the definition of fine. It's a very budgeted experience, similar to Tools of Destruction or A Crack in Time. Like I said, I do believe that the development of Full Frontal Assault Q-Force should have merged with this to give it more meat, potentially. I still find the experience overall enjoyable, minus the whole killing Kronk and Zephyr at the beginning, because I still believe at the end of the day it serves no narrative purpose on the long term outside of we want to shock the status quo in a big manner, which, as I said, seems to be a common practice for a lot of Sony IPs, because Resistance also had that infamous as that happening a couple of times. It's a bit complicated depending on what you do. But other than that, it's a fun experience. They actually bothered to have a couple of characters returning Tolwyn at the very least. And at the end, at the very least, Ratchet, wanting to stay by Tolwyn is still a nice gesture, but it continues the whole dilemma of, I really shouldn't go searching for the Lombaxes because I don't have any emotional connection with them, and my attachment, is with people here. I mean, outside of the fact that there's no real indication that just searching for the Lombaxes meaning that you want to stay with them, It's just a matter of reconnecting with your people and telling them, by the way, Takir is dead, you can come back if you want. If anything, that's a good plot point for a story. Ratchet finding the Lombaxes, telling them if they want to come back, but there's a conservative faction that wants to stay, kind of similar to Secret of Nim, and there's an internal schism going on. That would be interesting at the very least.
Although, God forbid they pull a War of Superman on us with the Lombaxes. I mean, like I said,
they clearly want to have a parallel with the Kryptonians to an extent, so why not? But, yeah, that's pretty much it. The score is there. This is the point where the score becomes just ambient stuff without being too memorable, They try to give a bit of a leitmotif to this game, but I don't know. I don't understand why it took until Rift Apart to have a score that was at least partially memorable to some degree for this franchise. Certainly not helping beating the allegations of journalists wanting to keep insisting about it's like you're playing a Pixar movie, which is the statement that I said in Tools of Destruction I particularly do not like in terms of addressing this franchise.
I think part of the problem is just the series' lack of a common leitmotif between soundtracks, like no common theme. I'm not saying that they absolutely need it, like plenty of franchises have had different themes for each games, but I do feel like having a uniting theme might have helped them.
Which is also weird, because in other Sony games, like for example the Greek saga of God of War, Kratos did get not one but two character, themes that echo throughout the games as a result. So Santa Monica knew what to do with this shit. So I don't know what happened here. But
weird.
Anyway, like I said, it's fine. Not too bad. Not particularly elevated, but as a result, still relatively enjoyable outside of, plot decisions at the beginning that screwed over the vision that TJ Fixman probably had. But that's not over for his troubles, because game-wise we need to take a bit of a break. When we'll come back with reimagining, but it will be after we see what the reimagining was leading up to. See, there was a movie coming out in a few years, so we'll have to see what happened with that next time. See ya.
Oh, see you then.